What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update today, 2021, as well as the next two upcoming packages, the physical infrastructure package known as the American Jobs Plan, the next stimulus package known as the American Families Plan, as well as what is going on in the world today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. And if you can, hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. The Russian hackers are at it again as they have now attacked with ransomware a ferry service that goes to Cape Cod, Nantucket, and Martha's Vineyard, a favorite place for us to vacation a lot of times in the summer with my wife Laurel's family. As you can see here, the Steamship Authority of Massachusetts ferry service fell victim to ransomware attack Wednesday, the latest cyber attack affecting logistics and services in the United States. The Steamship Authority is the largest ferry service offering daily fares from Cape Cod to Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard off the coast of Massachusetts. This also comes as the United States' largest meat producer was hacked and still remains hacked. The hack, which the White House describes Tuesday as ransomware, affects all of JBS's U.S. meat packing facilities, according to an official that represents JBS's employees. The closure represents all 9 of the company's U.S. beef plants, which are located in Arizona, Texas, Nebraska, Colorado, Wisconsin, Utah, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. The White House said that the ransomware attack was likely carried out by Russian-based criminal organization and that it is dealing with the Russian government on this matter. So yeah, this continues. Remember the gas pipeline hack? The hackers got paid almost $5 million in cryptocurrency from the gas company, not from the U.S. government. And now we're just continuing to see this happen over and over and over and over. And will we see meat shortages? Will we see the price of meat go skyrocketing? Will we see what happened with gas happen with meat? Will we see boats and airplanes and all sorts of transit systems shut down because this continues to happen? Yeah, it's tough because, when you think about like a ferry service, I mean, they're completely different than, anything else. They're not tied into the government services or anything like that. And the possibilities of this happening are literally endless. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, but I have a bad feeling that this is just going to continue on for ever? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Also, here's White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki with an announcement this morning.
A little preview of the president's remarks for later this afternoon. We've now vaccinated 63% of the country, and over 72% of those 40 and older are vaccinated thanks to aggressive action by this administration. COVID-19 cases and deaths have plummeted as a result. Cases are down over 90%. Deaths are down over 85% since January 20th. The fact remains, if you are not vaccinated, you are at risk of getting the virus or spreading it to someone else. So today, the president will announce the launch of a month of action to mobilize an all of America sprint to get more people vaccinated by July 4th. Community leaders, faith partners, businesses, celebrities, athletes, colleges, and thousands of volunteers will participate in this nationwide campaign. And as part of the month of action, we're making it even easier to get vaccinated, which, as we've seen, is the key to increasing numbers and getting more shots in arms. So the nation's largest child care providers will be watching kids for free while parents get the shot. Vaccines will happen at barbershops, baseball games, and NASCAR races. Pharmacies will be open 24 hours on Fridays. And throughout our time in office, we've led a whole of government effort to get the vaccine out. So this next month, we're continuing to build on that by leading canvassing, phone banking, texting into areas with low vaccination rates, coordinating vaccine events. More than 100 organizations have committed to hosting over 1,000 events the first weekend alone. And we're also launching a national vaccination tour. The Vice President will lead a tour to key communities across the South and Midwest. That will be coming up. And we're launching a mayor's challenge, and you've seen a little bit of activity about this already, where cities compete to boost vaccination rates through canvassing, local partnerships, and incentives for people. And through the COVID-19 College Challenge, more than 230 colleges and universities are taking a pledge and committing to take action to get their students and communities vaccinated. And finally, businesses like Anheuser-Busch, Kroger, and DoorDash are stepping up to offer all adults free beer on July 4th, the chance to win $1 million, and free meals for people who get vaccinated at community health centers. We've seen Krispy Kreme has done this. I would not recommend a Krispy Kreme with a beer, but I'll leave that to other people to decide.
So yeah, free beer. Pretty interesting there, as well as Super Bowl tickets being awarded by the NFL. And if you're vaccinated, I should say, you can enter these, what they're calling lotteries, vaccine lotteries, as a way to give back to people for an incentive to become vaccinated. New Mexico has actually announced a $5 million vaccine giveaway. Ohio's giving $5 million, $1 million to 5 different people, as well as 5 full-time scholarships. New York also has a $5 million lottery for vaccine lotteries, as well as other prizes up to $50,000. We have multiple different states. Maryland has a $40,000 per day giveaway, along with $400,000 on July 4th. Oregon has a $1 million vaccine lottery as well. And West Virginia has $100 gift cards or debit cards to West Virginians ages 16 through 35 who go and get vaccinated. Now, we also have some new news regarding student loan debt forgiveness. I also think that after they pass, remember, President Biden has already passed 3 mini rounds of student loan debt forgiveness, $2.3 billion to certain people who qualify, people with disabilities, and also people who had their school close on them or defraud them, as well as pausing interest and garnishments and payments for over 1 million additional people, the first 3 rounds that he's already passed right now. But they're looking to do $10,000 to $50,000 of student loan debt forgiveness as well. And I think once they do that, because I do think that will happen, I think that we're also going to see the Democrats push for other types of debt forgiveness, such as mortgage debt forgiveness and tax forgiveness, which can be done through an executive order, probably because the government owns taxes and the IRS, and the government also owns the majority of mortgages through the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac program. So they could literally forgive $10,000 to $50,000 of mortgage debt or tax debt as well through an executive order. We also could see a push for credit card debt forgiveness and medical debt forgiveness or other types of debt forgiveness as well, that they could pass through a stimulus package. And I think that we're going to see a movement for these types of debt forgiveness after they pass to the $10,000 to $50,000 of student loan debt forgiveness. Here is Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer talking today on student loan debt forgiveness.
And where it stands is we are trying across the country, I couldn't say this at the graduation, but we are trying to get 15 million emails, calls, letters to the president to do this. College should be a ladder up, and that's how it's always been. But with student debt, it's often an anchor down. So many kids have so much debt, and middle-class people too. So the president, you don't need legislation. With the flick of a pen, can just say $50,000 of debt is forgiven, totally. And you don't pay taxes on it. We passed in the ARP because he said, well, I don't know if I should do this, because let's say you get $20,000 in debt forgiven and you're paying 25% rate taxes, you'd have to pay $5,000 of that. Now that doesn't have to be done either. So we are trying to get this done because it's a lot easier to get it done by the president doing it on his own. If not, we would look at legislation. It would come, it's part of the same place where ARP and other places came from. He could decide to do it by increasing revenues. He's proposed to undo some of the taxes on the very wealthy people. Or we could just say this stimulates the economy during a time of crisis and we're pumping money in.
Yeah, so what's interesting there is the reporter asked him, we couldn't hear it, but he asked him, well, who's going to pay for this? And you said he really gave 2 different options there. Well, we could raise taxes or do a couple different interesting things there. But the other option, and a lot of people really don't understand this unless maybe, they watch this show, is that his other option was, well, maybe nobody will pay for this. And a lot of people don't really realize that Well, the first 6 stimulus packages, 5 that were passed underneath former President Trump, a vast majority of people do not know that as well. They think that only the 2 stimulus packages that had checks were passed. There was actually 5 packages. There were some other minor packages passed in there that had like Paycheck Protection Program money and money for different various programs. And this one package passed underneath Biden, 6 packages passed in total. Nobody's going to pay for them. They didn't raise taxes for any of those packages. As you heard Schumer say, that it stimulates the economy, and that's the reason they're doing it. But nobody's going to pay for them because they didn't raise any taxes for these first 6 stimulus packages. And the government already runs a deficit every year, anyways. So if the government already spends more than they make or than they take in, and they added these packages on top, well, nobody is going to end up paying for it. I always see a comment here and there that our children are going to be burdened with this debt forever. Well, not really, because they're not going to pay for it. I mean, the national debt sits there and it grows every year, but it really doesn't affect me and you unless they raise taxes or something. Inflation is really kind of different. It's not really the same. I mean, we could have a whole video on inflation, but nobody really pays the national debt except for the government. And that's like saying you're worried about your neighbor's credit card debt because of what they're paying in interest. It's like, yeah, the government pays interest on the national debt when applicable, but it really doesn't affect your daily life. When you go and make your money and pay your bills and pay your house payment, pay your car payment, buy food, the government's national debt really doesn't affect you. I mean, inflation does. Inflation's been low for the last several years. It's creeping up now, mostly because we're trying to come out of a recession, so everything's going up, including the economy, and we'll have to see how long inflation will last. But yeah, most likely, even for these next couple packages, there's a 50-50 chance that they're not even going to get to raise taxes to even pay for them, and they'll just pass them without tax raises. And this is because even some Democrats are against tax raises. So it's going to be a battle to see what tax raises they can get done. And this is where really all this support that the Democrats are pushing for a 4th stimulus check and even a 5th stimulus check or monthly recurring stimulus checks is really heating up right now as we have more and more Democratic lawmakers that are coming out by the day in favor of stimulus checks or even monthly stimulus checks. More than half the Democrats in the Senate alone have written a public letter to President Biden for recurring stimulus checks to be included in the infrastructure package. Again, I think it's more likely it'll be included in the next stimulus package known as the American Families Plan. But we want Democrats that are pushing for monthly recurring stimulus checks. We have 2 different bills, one from Democratic Representative Jayapal here that is pushing for a $2,000 stimulus check. This is an official bill introduced in the House of Representatives for a $2,000 stimulus check for every person in America, then followed by $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus payments that would go until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. The bill from the Senate that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Bernie Sanders are both in favor of and have written or signed a document that they're in favor of is co-sponsored by Senator Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren. That is for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks that would go until the pandemic is declared over. The difference between this bill and this bill this bill right here from the House of Representatives led by Jayapal, who's actually the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus, which is about half of all the Democrats in the House of Representatives. This bill goes monthly recurring for 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. It's $1,000 stimulus checks that go until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. This bill from the Senate is for $2,000 stimulus checks, but it only goes until the pandemic is declared over, which my guess would be most likely would be the end of this year. So maybe 6 months from now. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. I mean, it's really just a guess. This would be when the government declares the emergency pandemic over. Again, the virus could still continue on in a small fashion even after they declare the emergency pandemic over. Again, it's probably not going to be eradicated completely. But remember, even if the virus was gone tomorrow and the virus is just completely gone. Let's just say, boom, everybody was vaccinated tomorrow and the virus was gone. The economic recovery is still going to take probably a couple years. And that's exactly why Democrats are pushing for more stimulus checks. In addition to, Democrats are extremely mad that the Republican governors are taking away the $300 per week unemployment bonuses in like 23 different states. Now, some Republican governors are offering back to work bonuses instead of the $300 per week unemployment bonus. But Democrats are really upset about this because the Democrats passed this in the third stimulus check package. And now Republican governors are basically taking that money away from people that the Democrats passed in the third stimulus check package. I say the Democrats because not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package. So the Democrats passed it on their own, which is likely what they're going to do with the next stimulus check package. So it really, if that happens, if that's what ends up being, the Democrats can put anything they want in the next stimulus check package, including these monthly stimulus checks, which are already kind of happening with the child tax credits, which are starting on July 15th. And it's $250 to $300 per month per child. That's already passed for 1 year, and that's passed from the third stimulus check package. So in this fourth stimulus check package, they actually want to increase that to go until 2025 and continue on those monthly stimulus checks for children of $250 to $300 per month. But they also want to do monthly stimulus checks for everybody else that would be included in the stimulus check qualifications, which the easiest way to think about it is if you got the third stimulus check, then you most likely will qualify for the fourth stimulus check package when all is said and done. I'll keep you up to date on all these different stimulus checks and stimulus programs that are becoming available. There's a lot becoming available now from the third stimulus check package, like mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance, and utility assistance, as well as stimulus checks on the state level. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. I'll keep you updated with everything. Remember, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss an episode because I don't want you to miss out on any programs that could put money in your pocket. You can click this video here to watch the state stimulus checks and all the stimulus checks that are going out in June, July, and August. And this video is about President Biden's plan for Social Security increases to $16,000. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.